Drake has had a very tough week. Bro been ducking and dodging allegations and backlash all week. And it kind of feels like with every announcement or move he makes this week, it comes with more backlash. In this video, we're going to address the possibility or why folks now believe that Drake has a 13-year-old daughter, the same daughter that Kendrick Lamar rapped about in Grand Family Freestyle and alleged that Drake was hiding, which will make his second kid in a 6-year time frame that he's been hiding. We're going to address exactly how true those rumors are. We're also going to address this Drake and Bobby Alto situation, why people are apparently very upset that Drake is doing yet another interview with Bobby Alto. And we're also going to address this newfound beef. Well, it's a decade-old beef, but Drake has brought that beef back to the forefront of relevant media by dissing hip-hop journalist Rob Markman. A video that was uploaded by this courtroom sketch artist back in March resurfaced this week. And in that video, he's actually talking about how he just seen Drake in family court and that he's making a video upset about not being allowed to stay in family court because Drake was there. And apparently that's a violation of his rights because the courtrooms are supposed to be open. Drake walks by.
Hello, everybody. I'm at court today, March 27th, 2025. Drake, famous singer, is in family court today with his ex-wife, I guess. Don't really know her name. In courtroom 103, family court. They banned the public from the courtroom. No public can watch this. Divorce? I guess. I'm not sure, because I'm not allowed in the courtroom. This is not a good day. And I believe it's unconstitutional to not allow the public in the courtroom just because they're famous. Oh, hello. Oh my God, Drake. How are you? Oh, that's hilarious. He just walked by.
And because it's the internet, people don't need much to believe rumors about you. So this courtroom sketch artist and his video that resurfaced now have people on Twitter claiming that this was a slow rollout for Drake's 11-year-old daughter or 13-year-old daughter at this point being revealed to the public. Another user went ahead and says, "God is meet the Grams," referencing the Kendrick Lamar diss track where he alleged that Drake has a secret daughter. Another user also says, so Drake was in family court March 27th and 31st, and the judge made it a closed court hearing for no apparent reason. We're thinking that he probably does have a daughter, right? The internet is undefeated, to be honest, when it comes to narratives. If Drake was indeed in family court because a woman was accusing him of having her baby, that wouldn't be something that's definitive proof that Drake has a daughter that he's hiding. Because a lot of powerful and famous men get called to court all the time or to give their DNA because they're being accused of being a father of a woman they probably never met before. But in this situation, that was not the case. Drake has a baby mother, and apparently that was the baby mother that Drake was in family court with. The courtroom sketch artist responded to a few people on Twitter who actually sent him pictures of Drake's baby mother, and he confirmed this was the woman. This was her. I remember this was the woman. So it doesn't look like Drake has a secret kid as of yet. We don't have any proof of it. And it looks like this is just something that was routine. Probably, I don't know, a child support uppage, or maybe Drake wants to take the kid out the country. You need family court to kind of prove that, I believe. I'm not sure how Toronto works. But as of now, it looks like Drake has beat he's hiding another kid allegation. Let's move on to this Drake and Rob Markman beef. So Drake responded back, or he wrote in the comment section, on his Instagram post that reposted an old interview of Rob Markman and Tory Lanez. And Drake sent some shots towards Rob Markman's way, and he actually responded back in that same comment section as well. Tory Lanez asked Rob Markman to finish the lyric to a song. He couldn't do it. So Drake commented, "Of course this goof Markman couldn't finish the bar. Free Tory." Rob Markman responded back at Champagne Poppy, "But if I start calling you names, you gonna sue." Laughing emoji. Here's the truth about this. Even if Drake feels deep down inside he's 100% justified and that Rob Markman has said some things about him that crosses the line, Drake still looks goofy and he still looks crazy responding back or even engaging in a beef with somebody like Rob Markman. Kendrick Lamar ain't responding back to me or academics or Joe Budden. Kendrick ain't no comment section respond. You know why? Kendrick Lamar holds himself to a certain esteem. He's not coming down, down in the mud to mud wrestle with media personalities. But Drake, this is one of your flaws, bro. You're too accessible. People no longer respect you or treat you how they are supposed to treat you or revere you because you're too accessible. You should not be engaged in no Twitter or Instagram beef with Rob Markman. You are Drake. You are, this is not the level you're supposed to subject yourself to, bro. It's just not. Now, that being said, though, I think Drake doing this is goofy, but I also don't like the narrative that Drake, how could you go at Rob Markman? He's like Geneva, bro. Like, he's the last hip hop journalist left. Nah, bro. Drake, he don't bother nobody, bro. Cut it out, bro. Rob Markman has controversial opinions on everybody, bro. Rob Markman is just like the rest of us, man. He's on his YouTube channel giving it up, right? And he's not beyond reproach. If somebody has a problem with him, they can express it. This narrative that, he's some type of, I don't know, bro, like pure sheep who don't bother nobody, don't say nothing about nobody, cut it out, bro. Rob Markman has provoked situations, have antagonized people, have said things about people that is unfavorable. And when you give yourself up like that, or when you are somebody who's saying, I'm going to have opinions in media, you open yourself up to criticism and woe. You open yourself up for people not to like you. And I don't feel like Rob Markman should be the only one in media to where he's beyond reproach. That's crazy. Now, Rob Markman will respond back to Drake in a YouTube video. And during this video, he would pretty much break down the history of when him and Drake start beefing or why Drake don't like him. And then he would also get into his coverage of the battle and whether or not he believed he was fair or partial when it came to covering this Drake versus Kendrick.
Could attest, this channel is about music or music adjacent stories. Most of the times I try to stay away from anything that isn't that. Maybe you'll find a few examples here or there, but for the most part, I stay away. And that's a choice. Again, if this was about getting views, if this was about clout or going viral, it's a ton of things I could talk about that I purposely stay away from. As it relates to Drake, I never did a video about his abs. When that story kind of went viral, that had nothing to do with music. I didn't care. I didn't do a video about braids and if he grew his hair out, if it was a wig, if it wasn't, how fat, because I don't care about that. It wasn't about music. I didn't do this, whatever was popping off this weekend, the past couple of days about the family court thing that came out, even though you can maybe connect that to a Kendrick lyric. I truly don't know. I have enough facts to even speculate. And that's someone's family, so I didn't cover that. I didn't get up here and get in arms, or like in my feelings when, with the Bobby Alto interview. Like, I don't care. Like, interview who you want to interview with. I actually, when he interviewed with Aiden, if you remember a couple months ago, I actually gave him props. That was when Aiden was like, oh, hip hop is dead. And then Drake was like, nah, I can never die. It's just in a weird place. I was like, yo, shout to him for not falling for that bait, because hip hop's not dead. Yeah, it's a strange time for him, I'm sure. So I get it. So I commented on that restraint that he had. I actually shot him bail on that one. But whatever. That's not even the point. That's not here or there. It's that if it's not about the music, I don't even dive into that. You know what I'm saying? And so I say all of that to y'all to say this. That won't change. For me, that won't change. When you get to a certain age, when you have a certain number of years under your belt, like I'm 20 years into this, 20 plus years, you got to know yourself. You know what I'm saying? Know yourself. It's about being comfortable being who you are. And I'm comfortable being me. I'm comfortable with the decisions that I make. I know who I am. And this is me. You know what I'm saying? And
I can tell you this. One thing in particular that Drake is really upset at Rob Markman about, and his team is very upset at Rob Markman about. So Rob Markman, sometime last year, he made this entire video, this grand video, where he claims that Drake and Kendrick had a mutual agreement that they were not going to mention families, they were not going to mention this, and this, and that Drake broke the agreement. That's not true. That's a flat out lie. That never happened from what I was told. I was not on the phone call. I was not, but from what I was told from Drake's team, that's a flat out lie. That's not true. And they believe that Rob Markman and other personalities were peddling this lie that they were fed by Kendrick's team, essentially because they bought out in the sense of they had picked a side from the very beginning of this battle, and they was on this side. So hence, they felt perfectly okay kind of throwing out information that really wasn't that vetted. There's really no way to make... if you weren't on that phone call, there's really no way to confirm that whatever Doc's team or Kendrick's team is telling you is true or not. But they disseminated that information as if it was 100% fact. And I know for a fact that Drake looked at everybody who did that for that specific instance where they lied about from their perspective, because I wasn't on the phone call, I can't confirm if it's true or not, but they believe that Rob Markman and others lied because they were being bought out by Kendrick's team, and they were essentially not being paid, but kind of they were benefiting in other ways, being closer to the team, receiving inside scope, being kind of kept in the loop of things. In exchange, you throw out propaganda and you throw out things to make Drake look crazy during this battle. Rob Markman was a victim of that. Drake's team believed that he crossed the line, and that's why currently Drake don't rock with him, even though their beef extends far beyond last year. Now, a lot of people is giving Drake backlash for this. They're claiming Drake is coming down and trying to pick on Rob Markman, who don't bother nobody. Y'all already heard my opinion on that particular narrative. But another thing that Drake did this week that pissed off a lot of people is Drake announced that he's doing another interview with Bobby Alto right when people thought that they had successfully gotten Bobby Alto out the culture. Drake is then ushering her right back into the culture. Now, academics believe that Drake is doing this because Drake has ownership or a stake in the new podcast that Bobby Alto has started since her first podcast failed. Now, a lot of people believe that Drake is doing this interview with Bobby Alto because he's terrified of sitting down with legacy media and answering the hard-hitting questions. Because Kendrick kind of did the Ebro interview, right? He did an interview with Ebro and Nadeska, and they did ask him about the beef. So Kendrick Lamar at least did that, even if it's for the Super Bowl. He at least sat down with Ebro and Nadeska, and he had to answer questions about the beef. They felt like Drake is ducking and running away from that particular smoke.
So, bunch of thoughts here. I think it's clear to say, and I'm going to sit here and speak to you very openly, honestly, because I do hear a lot of, not even rumblings, but there's a loud echo and a loud noise saying, yo, Drake, my brother, I think you're not reading the room here. You just went through one of the most horrifying rap battles of life, and the entire premise was trying to show or trying to say you're not someone off the culture, and you keep doing content with people who seemingly are not within hip-hop, okay? And I completely understand that. And by the way, I do kind of look at Drake like, bad timing again. Now, honestly, I think it's a great business move. I just think it's bad timing. I think Drake, like, again, I could be wrong. I haven't asked him about it. It's no way he doesn't own a part of this podcast or the company that owns this podcast or is giving this woman an opportunity. With all due respect, Bobby Alto is not a talented person. With all due respect. There is a lane for her to flourish, but especially within the lane that she is trying to cannibalize off of, without Drake walking her through the door, now, not once, but twice, she is not as effective. No one really wants to sit with her. She comes across as either condescending or absent-minded. She doesn't do great interviews, but you are doing what we've accused Jay of doing. Giving someone a cultural key that maybe we don't think should even be a cultural visitor. So now you've told him they can live here. Drake has to, and I've spoken to many people about it. They're like, yo, no, Drake must be trying to fuck her. If Drake is doing this to try to fuck this chick, he's too horny. No, it's too great. No, he's too horny. He has to own part of her podcast or the network that's publishing her podcast. Otherwise, nothing makes sense. I will stick on that. Again, I would rather, and I hear the rumblings of people saying, no, Drake is just avoiding hip-hop press. Like, people are like, well, yeah, he ain't gonna do nothing with you, Maul, or nobody else. He's just avoiding y'all because he don't want to answer the questions. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. I think he is gonna do that in due time. And I want to believe that he has business with this woman.
I disagree with Act. To say Drake would do this in due time, as if he has ever done it, is the last sit down interview we got from Drake was with Elliot Wilson, Beat Dot, and Drake. It was a Rap Radar interview. But if you know the backstory to that particular interview, Drake told them, "Hey, we're recording this on my cameras. We're gonna film this. We're gonna edit this, and we're gonna drop it on my YouTube channel." Drake owned the entire production of Pop. Elliot Wilson and Beat Down was essentially just actors or characters in Drake's scripted and structured interview, right? So we already know how this is gonna play out. We already know, man. Bro, if Drake does indeed sit down with a media personality post beef, post battle, it's gonna be a scripted interview with one of these characters that he just implements. So I mean, probably like the New York Times dude or something, man. I do think, yeah, it's the same way why Kendrick Lamar probably won't sit down with an academics or won't sit down with, I don't know, bro. Who's like another person on the opposite side of this stand war that's like, I'll be real. I can't even see like somebody that Kendrick Lamar could sit down with on his particular side of the stand war that will ask him like the hard hitting, hard person questions that we'll want to hear. Like, I don't feel like Elliot Wilson would ask Kendrick Lamar the things that we want to hear. I don't feel like yeah. I don't feel like Rob Markman, because he don't really conduct those type of interviews. He probably won't ask Kendrick Lamar the things we want to hear. I'll probably say, hey, if Kendrick Lamar sat down with T-Raw from Back on Fig, I think T-Raw would ask Kendrick Lamar the questions that we want to hear. I don't think that Kendrick Lamar will sit down with T-Raw because he probably don't want to go into the weeds of these things. You feel me? He probably don't want to have to answer to the Vegas incident and talk about the Day Free and his kid. Feel me? Like certain things you feel like, yo, he's above. Drake probably feels the same way. Man, I don't want to sit down and talk about this beef and this battle and get into the weeds of things and have to prove whether or not Day Free is really Kendrick's. Right? It's just not worth it at some point. At some point, the damage kind of outweighs the reward that you might get from this, right? Because you're not about to earn new fans from this interview. You're not about to change the public perception. At this point, the public perception is made up. Those who like you, they like you. Those who don't, they don't. But it would be great for the culture if both of them sat down. I think Kendrick Lamar somewhat have appeased his side of the deal when he did the Ebro and Nadeska interview, even though that was a softball interview. Nadeska was about to cry talking to Kendrick Lamar, but still, he at least sat down with somebody from the culture. I think it's Drake's turn, man. You know? But let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think of this, man? Do y'all believe that Drake owes the culture at least one interview that he don't control? But let's move on to what would be Drake's latest misfortunes. So Drake was apparently scammed out of $500,000. At least that's what people believe. So as you know, Drake is like a big fan of like hip hop memorabilia. He's currently buying hip hop pieces, collections. He bought Tupac's ring before. Now, recently, Drake announced that he currently owns Tupac's Death Row chain. He spent $500,000 on the chain. But a lot of people who think they have a trained eye is saying, bruh, from their trained eye and their perspective, the chain is not real and is not the same chain that Tupac wore. Now, I wasn't going to cover this, to be honest, because there's somebody's business is aligned here, and I don't feel like a stand war or a war between fan bases should get in the way of someone's literal business. Like this man who sold Drake this particular chain, he sells these things for a living. Like this is his reputation is at stake. And I don't feel like I should come out or even address the rumors that it's fake because it could really affect how other people shop with this man. But now we're forced to address it because Suge Knight have spoken out and he has given his opinion on whether or not the chain is fake or not. And here's what Suge Knight has to say.
When Pac came home, I went to go visit Pac. And when I got Pac out, he came home, and we was going somewhere at the time. He said, "Oh, I can tell all your niggas, they all got those Death Row chains." I'm like, shit. I'm gonna make you one. He was like, shit, you my big bro. Let me wear yours. That's more important. I don't want a first one. I want to wear the one you got. So my death row chain at the time was full of diamonds on the chain and full of diamonds on the bezel. Pac came home and got that chain. Not after Christmas, not after New Year's. He already had it. In 1,000%, I heard a few people say that there was something wrote on there. One should run on that chain or the charm. Definitely not the chain, but the charm on the back wasn't nothing. And it was one of the best jewelers in California. This guy always come with great diamonds, the best of the gold, the best of all the shit. Now Drake bought that chain. Drake should go back and keep their drawers up their ass. But I don't go hard about it because it ain't Drake bought. And I believe Drake really admired Tupac and liked Tupac. I know in one of his songs, he was talking about, so they say he was talking about how he was listening to some songs that Dad had some Pac verses that he was supposed to have. And, we ended up getting it back. It was a sad day for Dad. Got touched up a little bit. That's the past. But more importantly, I feel that it's sort of weird that everybody want to rewrite history. Said they had a death row chain. Nobody had a bitch ain't never had a death row chain or a row chain. Never in life.
Suge Knight has said a lot of things from prison. He even accused Snoop Dogg of being a part of Tupac's and Whitney Houston's death. So Suge Knight has said a lot of things, and it kind of felt like Suge Knight, like, only objective in life right now from prison is to make life as difficult as possible for other people. So I don't know. But if anyone would know if the chain is real or fake, it would be Suge Knight, right? But with purchases like $500,000 up, man, there has to be some type of system and check and balances in placement to where they got some type of certification. They got something, right? Like some type of like notary. It has to be something in place to where you can 100% confirm this was a chain that Tupac wore. This was a death row chain that Tupac wore. But Suge Knight is saying it's fake. If I'm Drake, I'm going to bed today a little bit more worried that I may have gotten scammed out of $500,000. But y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think about this, man? Do y'all believe that Drake got scammed? Let me know what y'all think, all right? And if you're still watching, click on this video here somewhere on my screen, somewhere here, or here on my screen to find out about this huge 4 extra and no jumper drama. I'm going to see you guys in this video somewhere on my screen. I'm out of here, folks. Peace.